Don't forget to subscribe or give us thumbs up. Thank you for watching. Welcome to KJTV for your greatest news and programs. I'm glad you're here to listen to wonderful program coming.
All right. So we're live now, and welcome to another session. So thank you again. So we have our meet and know, and I'd love for everybody to understand the rules before we begin. So we have the candidates here. Everybody will have a chance to talk. Please be respectful to each other. I know you're running for the same seat. Just take 1 minute to answer the questions. Be as brief as possible. You can ask your open-end questions because this is a live discussion. I am so excited to have you guys. So we have, for Vice President, Mr. Gaston Nyamari, and we also have Mr. Amenya. So we'll delve in. So we'll go back to questions. So I'd love for you guys to tell us about yourself. So let's indulge.
So who to start?
Yep, go ahead. Go ahead. Mr. Gaston, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Gaston Nyamari, a resident of Minnesota, and a family man and a community leader activist. So I thank you for inviting us to your studio, and also to tell our people what we are for and what's the achievement we wanted to accomplish.
All right, thank you so much. Now we will go to Amenya. Please tell us about yourself.
Dr. Judy, thank you so much for the opportunity and for giving us this forum to discuss matters facing our people, our community. And also, Mr. Gaston Nyamari, thank you so much for coming up for this discussion. I think we're going to have a very productive discussion focused on the agendas and the factors which are affecting our people. So before I go ahead and introduce myself, let me take this opportunity to pass a message of condolences to most of the families who have been affected outside here. There are people, I know they are mourning, but this is the only time also have a chance to remember them and put them in the hands of God. The family of Elder George Mawaji, the family of Sotero, and even the family of John Mustafa, who died in Kenya. I know the families are languishing in pain, but tell them, let them have hope in God. At this particular time, they will be able to stand the pain of losing their loved ones. Yes, although they say that we are outgoing, but I believe I'm not outgoing. I'm the current Vice President of Mwanyagetinge, until the new team has been sworn in. So I'm the one, and I've been a leader before in the community, all way back from Kenya actually, and here outside before I joined Mwanyagetinge. I've served our groups outside here from constituency level and some common interest groups. So I am a community leader too as well. So I hope I'm here still to be put on measure to give another chance to our people.
All right. Yeah. So thank you so much, for the introduction. So I'm gonna really move in very quickly, and like I said, everybody is tuned in. People want to hear what we're all about. So thanks again for that. So I'm gonna move on to the next question here. So what experiences and skill are you bringing to this organization? And I would love for Gaston to go ahead and answer that question.
Thank you very much again for giving me the chance to respond to the question. The experience, much I have healthy and pregnant experience, which I will bring to Mwanyagetinge. I'm not new to Mwanyagetinge as per se, and also allow me, I will intermix so some other people can understand what we're talking, because now Mwanyagetinge is Kisi oriented and Kenyan oriented. So sometime I will diverge to the questions of our own language where we can understand. And that's what I'm going to speak to directly to my constituents, the people I'm going to serve. I've worked.
I'm going to interject you there. So, what do you mean constituencies? Because
constituency. Okay. Consider, I mean, we have counties where we have county reps. So those are constituencies. Yes, that's what I meant for constituencies.
Okay.
I joined Mwanyagetinge in 1996 when I was new here to the country, and since that day I was introduced, I was so impressed, and I joined it automatically. I was 2 days old here then when I was introduced to Mwanyagetinge, and all along I followed the footsteps with the leaders who were championing the organization until when I got my feet, whereby I can also intermingle with other areas of the state. Then I fight for privilege, for vice, or for treasury, which I worked for 3 months. Then we went to another election, whereby I went for secretary. I worked.
Okay, so what you're telling us, sorry to interrupt you again. So what you're saying is you have served Mwanyagetinge since you came to the US. So you served as secretary and treasurer?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's part of my experience, whereby since I joined, what impressed me of the organization, and I joined, and I'm a life member. I'm not someone who comes there because of some interest, and then when that interest is not there and run away. No. Whether there is interest or no, I'm a life member of Mwanyagetinge because I believe in it. When I served those ranks, there are many achievements we made, and even call it from recruiting young ones to elderly. And I never stopped. And when we moved, when my term expired from the office, where the mark I left the organization, since then we have never had Mwanyagetinge for the last 10, 15 years now. And then now I've looked again, that experience I have of interconnecting with the community, my people. And even we used to connect with the Washington Embassy, where we signed a treaty that every Jamhuri Day or Madaraka Day, the ambassador was to host in Minnesota during the Odembo governor, ambassador, and even the current one. But when we left office, and the people who came in, that the young Turks, it was like Amenya and his team, Mwanyagetinge went to, I don't know whether they went to ICU, I think I can call it, because we have never had Mwanyagetinge. We just hear Mwanyagetinge on the mitandao, but physically touching it, we have never touched. That's why I want to bring that glory of Mwanyagetinge back to the community. Okay.
So I'm going to say that, yes, I mean, thank you for the long explanation. I get it. I understand that, what you're trying to bring across. So we will let Mr. Amenya counter that and tell us, what does he bring, what experience does he bring to the table? Thank you.
Dr. Chudi, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I want to go straight and articulate on the question, what is the experience? Early on, I tried to preempt that I've been a community leader for many days, and I can trace it back to Kenya, the year back in 1998. I was barely 22 years old, but I was living in Mombasa. But then we have what we were called, it's still, Abakusi Welfare Association, and I was one of the constituents leader. It was zoned in some areas, so I was one of the area representative at age of 22, 23 years. So, and then later on when I moved, by that time, Gaston joined Mwanyagetinge, I believe I was in high school, somewhere there. So I want to comment on that one later. So after that, when I moved to Minnesota, I immediately joined Mwanyagetinge, and then it was what it was by then. And it was very vibrant, I can say for sure. And then I've been a member of Mwanyagetinge for a long time until last time, that's about 2 years plus ago, when we revived. Actually, that's what Mr. Gaston could have said, when we resuscitated Mwanyagetinge from what it was. But I cannot take uh, this credit to this team, which is in the office right now. For sure, I'll give a credit to a team which was called a caretaker. I can say thank you so much, wherever they are listening. There was a group
So
of
by
great men and women.
caretaker, yeah, sorry to interrupt you. By caretaker, you mean like her? There was a team that was trying to
Yeah,
restore
this is a team
caretaker.
which salvaged Mwanyagetinge from where it was. Actually, what it was dying. They came up with a new constitution, and
So,
then
in
they
other
came up with
words,
a roadmap.
it.
They came up with a roadmap which changed all the dynamics and operations, and then which showed us to office for the first time. And the system we had been working so hard, and our record speaks by itself outside here, regardless of what other people say. And again, I don't know what happened between. So Gaston was saying that they left my thing until this time. What happened? Where that died? What happened
Yes,
then until we came to salvage it? So I
yes.
say that one. I think I'd been a member before that. Then, if I can go back, I'd been the president of South Mogrango for 4 years. So before I joined Mwanyagetinge. So that one helped me put also some great roadmap, some strategies and structures, which gave us the association going up to now. So I think I've been a member outside here, I've been a treasurer, been to association outside here for many years, which is very successful as well. So my record can be tracked in the community for a long time. What's wrong, Gaston?
I
Okay,
would
so
like to interject.
here.
Yeah,
I
please
would
let
like
us
to.
have a decorum discussion. Give me time, and then when I
Okay.
finish, respond. We are only two, so take your time, brother. Yeah.
All
So
right. All right.
yeah, so I think yeah, my record can speak well for myself, and I can speak to my office as a vice president. I believe I've delivered, and because of the bending programs, that's why I feel like I will be elected at the same time. I mean, again, we can keep on finishing our agendas. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So you, Gaston, there are some key things that you want to respond to, and hopefully just
Yes.
respond. So 30 seconds, respond to whatever.
Yeah. I would like
Yes.
to take my opponent or my friend, Mr. Mena, that in a point reviving Mwanyagetinge did not revive. Because the people who revived Mwanyagetinge is the caretaker team committee who sat and thought that our community is getting lost from the map of other communities. They sat, they organized it, they spend a lot of time checking what is happening and how can we come again on board. When they organized all this, made it everything clear, and then that's the time they called the election. You and I, we came in because like now they have announced the election, the commission has announced the election, and then I come in, I cannot just asking for a post. I cannot say I revived Mwanyagetinge. The credit goes solely to the caretaker team who took time. Even you were not in a map. Even sometimes they called you, you had no time to join them. And even when they gave you this mandate, then what the recommendation gave, for example, like Gregor report back home we can hear, which they gave that after the firing, which was back home, Gregor report came, they thought Parliament will implement it. They never. You came in with that caretaker recommendations. You never took time. So how are you telling us you revived it? And there are some program you have said you have program which you are not even sharing us here. We know which program are this you are going to bring now, which you did not bring then. Now you have those programs. Can you tell us, please? Can you shed light on that?
Okay, so I'm gonna give I will give everybody. So right now the questions are, okay, there was a caretaker program. There are programs that you're pointing out to. So I'll give Manya time to actually, answer that. But I will move on to the next question. I'm gonna bring us back to that. And for Amenya, whatever questions that you have in regards to, of course, the interjections, then you know what, we'll have time to figure this out. Okay, so what the community wants to hear. I just,
Dr. Judy, I have to respond to what up to the pattern.
Yes.
Basically, what I said, Gaston has just paraphrased what I said. I said very clear that the credit goes to caretaker. That's what I said, and I went ahead and explained how they resuscitated Mwanyagetinge, and then they had it at this team which is running right now. So, and you are saying the same thing. It's literally repetition. That's what I said, unless you didn't hear me when I said exactly. I said the credit goes to caretaker committee. And then about the recommendations and all that one we can discuss as we move on. So
we will. Okay. So let's go ahead and that's okay. Mr. Caston, you'll have a chance, to ask more specific questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and just bring out some other questions that people are interested in knowing. So do we have vested interest here in why do you want to be the vice president of Mwanyagetinge? Amenya, I'm going to ask you this. Why do you want to run for vice president again as the... I have general... No, not here. One minute. Sorry. So, Mr. Amenya.
Yeah, actually, that's a good question, and thank you for asking, Dr. Judy. And that's what Gaston was trying to ask. I'm trying to go back again because I've been there for the last 2 years plus. Simply because we feel that as a team, as one of the team player, let me say by myself as a vice president, my contribution which I gave since we took office to come this far where we are is very important. I feel if I give another chance, I would just get done the agendas, which is saying the agenda is simple, not any agendas. Again, when we are in the office is perpetual. We applied for some programs which I don't have to explain here. I'm not mandated to explain here. I didn't come to explain about the project. They are there. If the new office is going to come in, they will get a report. That's it. So, and the advisory report is there. They have all the reports. So they took off from us. So those programs, since I was among the team which applied for those programs, those are grants which are pending, which have not been approved. Some have been approved, but they have not been dispersed because there's no office running office. So I feel that we had the agenda as executive for those programs. So, and that's why I feel that if we're gonna give it another chance, we can aim and just try to finish the program as we intended.
So
secondly, that's one. Number two, I have a passion, and this day I have a passion I've explained from my previous life of serving our community.
Amenya, I have a question. I want to take you back to the programs and agendas that you talked about. So there's a question from the audience, and they're asking, okay, can you be specific? Do these programs, who are they addressing? And, I would want you to just, name one or two. So that's a question from the audience. What are these programs?
I don't want to preempt those questions because, I'm not speaking on behalf of the executive which is outgoing. But what I can preempt is that we applied one grant.
That's where the problem comes. That's where
I'm explaining, my friend. Don't interrupt me, my friend. Why don't you give me time? Be gentleman. Serious.
Yeah, I'm gentleman.
And
I'm
I will not
sorry.
intersect you even one time. You will watch me. But
You are
please,
you are welcome to interject. You know we
no,
are
I don't
doing.
want. That's not the best way to interject. Please.
Okay. All right.
So I will not preempt the specifications of their programs, but I will say we have a grant from the state, which is pending. We have a grant from the county, which is pending, and at least two grants from the city of Broken Park and the city of Broken Center. So those are the grants which are pending. By specifications, I don't have here right now, and I don't think I'm authorized to explain.
to
I'm
discuss
just a
that.
vice president.
All right, here is yeah, if you're not comfortable, that's fine. You can always say not comfortable to discuss that because many
Exactly, that's what
people
I'm
are
saying.
here. So one thing I'll tell you here. So there will be follow-up questions, but I think the specifics. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask Mr. Caston to also address the same. Why? I mean, you've served before. So why would you want to? Uh,
Serve as a vice president.
yes.
Yeah. Always we have what we call a baby step. Even when the baby can't be born and start crawling and start walking. When I joined Mwanyagetinge, I joined as a member, and I learned what the four runners have done. I followed the footstep and understood how the organization worked. Then, from a member, I applied for a position as a treasury. Again, when I served, I finished that. Still, the passion of serving, I applied for also secretary, and I served, and I left also other people to serve. And now the position I'm going, I've never served as a vice president, which is even closer to the realm of the organization, and whereby also with this experience, together with my team, where the president will be, we need to bring my experience together so that we can move our organization far ahead than what we are seeing around here. We have been told program. I'm not supposed to explain about a program, and that is a mandated. That's a mandated. If Mr. Manya didn't understand, here we are not hiding. We are not discussing someone's private life. If I'm going to serve my people, and the Constitution states clearly, when a member asks, specific, like he wants to know this, you have at your fingertips to relay that information with appropriate time. But now here, our current vice president is saying that it's not authorized. Who is this? Who's going to authorize you as members? We are the stakeholders. A member, when a member asks you, when the community or those people you are serving, they want to know something, we cannot operate in opaque and I say, oh, I'm not authorized. Who is this? Are you going to ask? And this, we are talking to our constituents or our members. So you should be able to come clear and tell us, like, as a vice Gaston, can you tell us A, B, C, D? If I know what I know, I will say what I know, and you know it because those papers, black and white. Why don't you explain to us? Even you see, when you have brought something up, which is good, that you are getting funded from Brooklyn Center, Brooklyn Park, and the state. But we have been knowing it's only the state, but we don't know what this state is funding, what program the state is specifically is funding, or what Brooklyn Center city is funding, what Brooklyn Park state is funding. So I'm not going to operate as an opaqueness to my people if you put me in that position. I will bring as it is so that we know if it is $1, it's $1. This was brought for for the makeup or for the lotion. That is how transparent we wanted. I want to bring to Mwanyagetinge, which got lost once some of us we left the office those time.
Okay, so I want to ask this.
Before, give me a time to battle, please.
Do you want to rebuttal?
Yeah, because I'm trying to follow the discussion of Gaston. I'm getting lost somewhere.
Okay.
And
so,
I think the question was asking on what experience do we have to put on the table for this position, and why we are running this position.
No. You are not teaching me about experience.
That's what you are telling me. You are telling
all
me.
Right, gentlemen. I tell you what. Now here,
me, so that it's like teaching me that I should say what this experience is, right? So the people
I'm gonna go back.
Not you as an opponent touching me. It's like telling me, do you know how to spell the word common? Oh, you go for what? MN.
Okay,
So
okay.
don't go that route.
Gentlemen,
So,
I want us to
Gaston,
go back to the
go
rules of
ahead
the
and argue now, but I'll tell you the truth.
yes.
Gaston,
You
Please.
you
see,
were supposed
No,
to
no,
tell
no.
us exactly
Let's go
the
back to the
experience
rules
you
of
were
the
supposed to
game.
give us here is
which one?
when you were vice president, you were the treasurer.
I've
Give
never,
Amenya,
us the
Amenya,
fingerprints of what you left
Gaston.
behind.
I've
Okay,
never been a vice
that's what
president.
you're supposed to tell us. You were secretary. Give us. I went to that office. There's not even one
But it's just
time I
vice
saw a
president.
minute, even a single minute from the previous regime, which you wrote,
The,
my friend.
the
So
All
question
right.
tell us.
Mr. is saying
I
vice
want you.
president, not asking secretary. Is
All right.
vice president the question?
Okay. I am the moderator here, and I will tell you what. We have a question from you know, one of the members on the secret chat. So there are questions that are coming in. I don't want us to get like all riled up. I want us to be respectful because at the end of the day, I want everybody to understand where everybody is coming from. So when it gets so personal, then I have to reel you back to why we are here. So
Yes.
here, yeah. Okay. Right? So
Yes. Not correctly.
yeah. So let's go back. There are comments from people, and you will answer to those comments. But I want to get us back to the why behind all this. So let's go to the next question. And please, gentlemen, I know sometimes it gets so heated, but don't get so
Worked up.
yeah, don't get so excited. It's okay. You know what? We are having a conversation here, right? Okay. So, and you answered some of the questions, like what do you intend to do if elected as vice president? And this goes to, again, I want you guys to remember, we have had this organization. So what are we gonna do different? Because I think there's a lot of our people who have lots of questions for you, like you see on the chat. But I'm gonna go to, talk to you, Gaston. What do you intend to do if you're elected as the vice president?
Okay. The first thing I would bring to the office is transparency and accountability and inclusivity. In this manner, if I say if we get $10, which I use the membership names to apply and solicit for these grants or loans, I should come and tell my people, this is what I got. How do you want to spend it? Not and picking. Like now, I can tell my opponent is saying is going back because of the other incumbents that are fighting for, which is a fact anyway, because when this position was announced, they never applied the first place. When they were told, that's the time again. So my experience and what I will bring to my office, to the office of vice president of the organization, is transparency, accountability, and in being in touch with our members, not on the mitandao where we can communicate on air on iCloud. We don't know office where the office is. The office is in iCloud. Sometimes all officials we find they are out of state. They are traveling abroad. We are left like in a vacuum, like ovens. We don't know which office we are operating. At the other time when we were in a meeting, you said clearly, the outcome president said the office is operating from Amenya's office. So I don't know whether those are the things I want to bring to the people. When I left the office as a secretary, I left an office of Mwanyagetinge intact, which has a president office, vice president, secretary, treasurer. All those I left in place. Where those went, I don't know. Now, you said you have revived the organization and you have been a vice president. I haven't seen, other than, operating from your office, and you have never said that because I saw I have a vacancy here, when I think even my contribution is this one, anytime when I think it's operating from my office, that thing never came until when I came to ask there, and even I was reported several times that I'm asking a bogus question, which is okay, but that is my bogus question asking. So all of those operating under basements of someone or someone's office. We don't want that. We need to bring the organization to the people. Where right now, if you want to ask, I want to see the vice president. Are you going to come to my house? We need to go to the office. If I want to see the president, am I going to go to his house or her house? No, we need a physical. And that money we are getting those grants from the state office is included there. I want to even get transparency, like when we are returns office money, how do they account? Maybe they account it to the office, because that's what they said when you said in the meeting there that you are operating from the office. So if those are the things you could have brought out, me, I will bring it out. If I'm operating from one of my bedroom, I'll say the office now is operating from one of my bedroom, so that people know, because it's not a secret. That's what I will bring to the office.
That's what you bring to the office. All right.
Yes.
So we'll give a chance to Mr. Mwanyagetinge to actually address that and tell us, why, and rebuttal that. And one thing I tell you here, have we had opportunities, where we are able to actually, hold those face-to-face meetings? What does that include? Or, do we have a medium where everybody is, in a safe space where somebody can actually talk to somebody else? We want to hear what Mr. Amenya has to say about this. So, Mr. Amenya, what do you intend to do if elected as vice president, or re-elected as vice president? And please answer those questions, because then I'm sure people would want to know that.
Thank you, Dr. Judy. Whoever understood me that I'm running the office for re-election because of what that's wrong. I'm running for the office of the vice president, which I applied. Nobody picked me. I did the application, and the electoral commission, which was 10 and which is right now, can verify that. I went through election and I was elected. So it is nothing like from the back street. So, and I think I've served well. I've served because if you see from the constitution, the responsibility of the vice president is to deputize the president. That's what I think I've done well, because I can't do anything outside the constitution. So, and I think that's what I'm looking to. And whoever will come as a president, I'm willing to work with him or her. So, and actually, what I'm looking for, the input which I put before, I'll even continue doing more, because the ultimate goal is getting the services to get to our people. And the service, if you see the constitution, it looks at we are working on education, socioeconomical issues facing our people. And we have no resources for this money unless we go for this money from the counties, from the state, and all that. That's very open. That's specific my input. Like when we are writing the service agreement, we're writing for grants. That's what I can do when we are out there doing the service, serving our people, distributing food, and any other things which you can come across. I'm there, participated, and I think I'll continue doing that. So I'm looking forward to continue from where we left this team, and where my office left, and continue serving on the same capacity until the term ends. So my colleague has mentioned many things. I don't know where to respond from, but let me start from the records and the word transparency. This is the word which is flying all over in social media. For us, we have never gone to social media doing anything about records. The records we put there is something we posted before the AGM, and we went during the AGM, we gave the same. My opponent was there. They had the opportunity to ask the questions. They asked the questions. And always, if you go to our constitution, I think Constitution 8A, Part 1, every member has a right to access to records of Mwanyagetinge. And the Act goes ahead and explains the procedure as a member. That's Article 801. Article 81, A01. How do you access these records? How do you request, write down, get reasonable, go there, get the access? None of these guys has come up, has written to anybody else, has written to the current team, has written to advisory board, and which is open. It's there in the constitution. Even Article 1302 has said well. It says well how to access the records of Mwanyagetinge for transparent. None has refused to give these records. We can't come do the social media and try past everything, social media account there and everything. Go there, apply for the procedure as the constitution, which all of us have agreed to obey. Then you get the access of the records.
Okay.
Then he's saying about the office. The office is very clear. Article 1 is saying, if not part 3, part 4 there, is saying about the office. Go to the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State says where the office of Mwanyagetinge is. And wherever it's operating from, the law does not say no. Does the constitution say that we have to operate from the head office, from the 50th floor? It doesn't say. But we have a place where we are recognized, we are traced to. If you want to get as custodian, go and get from the state and try to get where Mwanyagetinge is. Until if you want to change when you get office and you feel like I mean this is my time now as a vice president we have to move right office to this office, you are okay. That will be your time. I don't think that
Okay.
will be a big problem. And again,
All right.
the office. Let's look here. Let's take talk substance here. We have to understand actually before we get this office the revenues of Mwanyagetinge. How do Mwanyagetinge get money? And how would this money be able to sustain some recurrent expenses? So you see, the only money probably we have used to rent a office is the money we got from registration, which was about 16 thereabout. I don't have exactly figure. And then if you go to one space, I'm trying to give illustration. If you go to one small space, one room office, which will go to around maybe 3,000, 350 per month, for the last 3 years, for 16 months, it could have been maybe that 6 months for 3 years, that is, it would have been about 12,000. Right now, we could have exhausted all the registration money. And our ultimate goal is to save this money for our community. And team which will come in will get the money, which we didn't spend the money from registration. That's
Okay.
why we thought that's
Amenya,
why
Amenya, I'm gonna stop you. Sorry, right there, because they have questions. So I have questions from our again our audience. So there is a high rate of officials that have resigned from office in the outgoing regime, and the community was not notified. Does it mean that the community doesn't need to be notified? Okay. Um, and then another question to Menya. In the current regime, so say was this the same question? And then did I get? So are you vying as the incumbent? Are you vying for the seat because the team is vying, or because I think you had mentioned that you're vying because the team is vying, and you could write those questions down. So
Dr. Judy, why are you trying to put the words in my mouth just to say? I'm fine as an incumbent re-election as the vice president of Mwanyagetinge because of the responsibilities which I said exactly to deputize the president. That's why I'm fine. So when you're saying I'm fine because others are fine, I didn't say that. And I don't know why are you going to stop me somewhere?
okay, so this is from the audience, by the way.
No. Then whoever is asking, that's a good question. I'm asking to be given a chance to run as a vice president because that's what I've been doing at the same capacity, and I'm looking to do that one. That's what I'm asking to continue giving the services as a vice president. I'm not doing it because of any other office. For that
So
matter.
how many meetings?
But at the end of the day, at any given case,
Yes.
I can say that I cannot try to say that the outgoing team we are working a good working relationship. I cannot try. That's why we came this far. I cannot try to do that. And as believe also my opponent, it feels the team is coming with because in social media is a team will work well with. So I don't see anything wrong with that because that one is 50-50 then.
When is the last time? Another member asks, when is the last time you had a general meeting that members, as members, when you serve an entity, if you ask for a meeting, if there are things that need to be addressed, then there's going to be a protocol. So when is the last time you had the meeting, or are you able to disclose that or not?
We just have an annual general meeting even before the election was I think was December. It's a few minutes, 2-3 months ago. November, something like that. We have an annual general meeting that I can't exactly. It's about 3 months ago. That's when we had the annual general meeting at Nasalin.
So okay, and does the public have records or is that open to the public to view those minutes and what was discussed?
Yeah, it was public. It was annual general meeting. It's a general meeting which was open. If you reach our the current secretary, and I believe even the Department of Advisory Board, they have everything we discussed. It was an open meeting. It was an annual general meeting. Many people were there. Questions were asked. We answered the questions. Yeah, I think we tried to exhaust more, especially the financial statement. And whoever still asks a question on that, the door is open. It's just write the question he has to a board of directors right now. And then if the board of directors feel that they have to summon us and give more light, we can do that. We are here. We are not going far. We are not going anywhere.
All right. So I'm going to have Mr. Gaston address some of the issues or some of those concerns that have come up, and then also rebuttal any statements that were made.
Yeah, thank you again for the opportunity. I would like to ask my opponent pertinent questions as to what he was saying. In this era of digital, like now we are in digital forum. This video you can review and see exactly what Gaston says. Number one, when you say that the state recognizes you where the office is, are you serving the state or are you serving Mwanyagetinge? So the state, I can write my address. That's where the state wants to know the physical address. But what about the people you are serving? The state, right now you are lying. You lie to the state that the office is maybe in your place. But the people you are serving, they don't know that. That's number one lie. Number two, when you came to the general meeting November 19, after the community outcry, we petitioned the signatures because you guys wanted to election and they do away with it. But the community petitioned that no election if we don't have a general meeting to get a bank statement, finance statement. And the statement you guys brought is what you have in the account. And even you did not elaborate how the expenditure was. It was like, when we took office, we got 391, and then we brought in 240,000. But other than that, we had 22 events without explaining which these events, how this money when it came. And I believe when you went to the office, that time we registered 763 times $20 roughly. There, you got about $16,000 in the account. So this notion of 391, I don't know, maybe it's the balance which was carried from the previous regime. And when you got 391 plus 16,000 there, those are the money you guys are not even disclosing. Well, myself, I wrote an email to request of the same. I wanted a financial statement from the advisory board because you are not an office. I got the same thing which you were explaining there on the general meeting that day. And at the general meeting, it wasn't a general meeting because you took it when someone was asking a question which is pertinent to you guys, it will be shut off. And then we said, okay, time will come. Time is now. Tell us now, since the people are listening, you have been asked that question. Tell us. And I know you don't have access to the office now because the advisory council is the one that has access. However, that's a lie too, because December we saw you distributing unga at the United Church. When you distribute unga, United Church, please give me a minute. So I saw you guys, if you say you are not in the office advisory, it is not the advisory which was distributing that unga. It is you officials who doesn't have a mandate in the office because your mandate expired July 10 of last year. But you kept operating and you're telling us that it's advisory team operating. For example, even when we were asking a list of members, the advisory council didn't have even those lists. It came just the other week from the current president, which is supposed to come from a secretary. Even when we ask a cash-up number, the treasurer doesn't own that cash-up number, which pertains to financial, but it comes from the president. It tells us in such a manner, Be honest and transparent. Say, anyway, even if I'm office, I'm asking as independent. They are the third party which I have no whole hand of it. So I'm there as a vice president. That's why I serve as a vice president. But telling us that you will be telling us, whereby when we come in a meeting, you don't even say anything. It's only one man job, and then the meeting is over. Those are the things. When I come to the office, I want to work as a team. I don't want to work around ranger. Work as a team.
All right. So I'll say this, man. I see this is a very position. Yes. Give me a minute. Give me a minute here. So I'll tell you this, man. We have a lot of interested parties. We have so many comments. I mean, I can't read all of them to you. One thing I want us to do is actually schedule for a follow-up, because it looks like there's so much. I just, I'm trying to read through the comments, trying to figure out, okay, how do we best address the community's needs? And, from two opposing sides, of course, there's always going to be a rift. And I don't want us to, get all carried away, but looks like there's so much more. And I want us to actually schedule for another meeting, same time next week, and we will have the same set of questions. And of course, we will actually go by the rules, because I have so much. There's so much.
Dr. Judy, I know you want to end up the program, but this one, Gaston cannot go free, spot free. Gaston saying about records. Gaston, I have a records we presented, however, Saturday war. When we came to the office, we tried to track 10 years ago to get some minutes and records of Mwanyagetinge to see where we can start from. And I believe by then you said very well in this forum you were secretary.
Yes.
My brother, we couldn't even get 1 minute wrote by you. We couldn't get anything which can make us know how you delivered. And in any given case,
give me
time to explain, Gaston.
No. Which year?
When you served, the years you served, okay?
No, you said you went to look for the ministry, which is specific year. So you missed that
document.
Over
20 years.
I got that document. I have my own document. My copies. I can give it to you. If you tell me you want to
okay. Yes. All right. Now I'm gonna say this. So I know it's getting very heated.
Judy, I think Judy. I think you didn't moderate well. You did well, but I think this guy you are getting to go without a point with an answer. So the problem is it's giving out of bunching here and there. You went all salad here and there. You didn't expect what went go one line.
Salad, everybody eats salad.
So I'm going to tell you this. So at the end of the day, there's comments, tidbits, and all that. I want us to get back, and I want us to actually schedule that meeting, and we will be very specific.
I'm ready.
Yes. So next week, sometimes people get very carried away. I want people to know that we are here for them. And
you want to invite me to this type of discussion, Judy? Seriously? Are you sure? Where someone jumps down and this way? No, this one I can't come. This debate. This is not the best debate we do.
And you know what?
There's no issues here. Allow me to talk. I wonder what this is gonna be.
Welcome to KJ TV for your greatest news and programs. I'm glad you're here.